ever wonder how, like, ancient cultures explained, the whole universe thing
Hmm.
and, like, where we fit it? Well, today we're diving deep into the Popol Vuh.
Oh yeah, the POPOL VUH.
It's the sacred text of the Quiche Maya people.
Yeah, it's think of it like their version of the Bible,
Okay.
but way more trickster gods
Right.
and epic battles. It's like mythology, history, and spiritual insights, like all in one.
So, like, where do we even begin with something like that?
Well, the POPOL VUH, it starts with their creation myth.
Okay.
And it's not just about like God's creating humans, it's about like how everything has this spirit essence, a concept they called know-all.
Noel, break that down for me.
Imagine it like a spiritual fingerprint,
Mm.
like unique to every being and connecting like the physical and spiritual realms.
So, like, everything is alive, with
Yeah.
this energy.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
pretty profound idea, especially for such an ancient culture.
It is, and it's what's fascinating is how their creation story it like revolves around maize.
Maize, like corn.
Exactly. Corn, yeah.
Okay.
For the quiche maya, maize, it wasn't just food. It was the substance from which like humans were first formed.
Wow.
Their creation story, it literally like roots humanity in the natural world.
That's pretty powerful imagery.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like their version of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Both stories. Both stories trying to explain how, something came from nothing.
Yeah, you got it. It shows that even across cultures and time periods, we like share this need to understand our origins.
So we've got this creation myth, this idea of know-all connecting everything. Where do we go from there?
Well, the Popol Vuh introduces these incredible characters called the hero twins, Hunahpu and Xbalanque. Hunahpu and Xbalanque.
And they're not just sitting around eating corn, are they?
No, not at all. These twins, they get summoned to Xibalba, the Mayan underworld, to face the Lords of Death in a series of trials.
Oh, wow.
It's like their version of a hero's journey, right?
Okay.
Facing challenges and ultimately, triumphing over adversity.
So it's not just a story.
Yeah.
It's like a lesson about courage and resilience, something
Yeah.
that, would have resonated with the Quiche people facing their own challenges.
Absolutely. The Popol Vuh isn't just about myths and legends, though.
Yeah.
It delves into their history, recounting migrations, conquests, and lineages.
Hold on. So it's like a history book woven into their mythology.
You could say that. And lineage was incredibly important in Mayan society. Each group, they trace their ancestry back to a specific deity, connecting their history to the divine.
So their like family tree extends all the way back to the gods.
It is, and the Popol Vuh, it recounts their migration from this mythical place called Tulan, often associated with the legendary city of Teotihuacan in Mexico.
Oh.
It's a story about origins and journeys, something that speaks to the human experience even today.
It's amazing how these ancient stories can still, resonate with us.
Right.
It makes you wonder what other insights the Popol Vuh holds.
Well, that's where we'll pick up in part 2. We'll delve deeper into their history, explore the significance of the hero twins, and unpack the lessons this ancient text has for us today. So before we get to the hero twins' journey, there's this fascinating episode in the Popol Vuh
Okay.
that really highlights the Quiche Maya's understanding of the cosmos.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What episode are we talking about?
Well, before like the sun and the moon and the stars, as
Yeah.
we know them,
Right.
there's this being called Seven Macaw.
Seven Macaw.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he basically strutted around, claiming to be the source of all light.
Wait, so this was before the creation of humans.
Right.
Talk about an ego trip.
Right. Imagine a world, shrouded in this dim, shadowy light.
Okay.
And here's this being, with dazzling scarlet feathers, claiming to be like the real deal.
But if there was no real sun yet, how would anyone even know the difference?
Well, it seems like the world was in this kind of twilight state. Not
Yep.
complete darkness, but not the vibrant light we know today.
Okay.
And remember, this is like a mythical time.
Right.
So, reality and symbolism, they kind of blend together.
Okay, so Seven Macaw, he's basically like a pretender to the throne of light.
Yeah, you could say that.
Did anyone challenge his claim?
Well, the Popol Vuh tells us that the gods, the same ones who shaped the world,
Okay.
they weren't too pleased with Seven Macaw's arrogance. They saw him as this like threat to the balance of creation.
So what did they do? Did they like send him to divine timeout?
Actually, they decided to use a more indirect approach.
Okay.
They enlisted the help of two skilled hunters.
Okay. You might have heard of Hunahpu and Xbalanque.
Wait, the hero twins?
Yeah.
But I thought they came after this whole Seven Macaw drama.
You're right. You're right in the grand scheme of things. Their most famous deeds happen later.
Right.
But the text actually like introduces them earlier on.
Okay.
As these masterful hunters already, making a name for themselves.
So this is like their origin story.
Exactly.
Okay.
It shows that even before their descent into Xibalba,
Right.
they were already, fighting for balance and justice in the world.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
How did they take down this self-proclaimed god of light?
Well, they were hunters, remember?
Right.
So they carefully observed Seven Macaw's habits,
Okay.
noting that he was, particularly fond of this certain fruit tree.
So they set a trap.
Precisely.
Okay.
They hid themselves near the tree, waiting for Seven Macaw to come and feast, and then, bam, took him out with their trusty blowguns.
You got it.
Yeah.
They shot him right in the jaw, sending him, crashing down from his perch.
Oh wow.
It was a symbolic victory, a way for the gods to like reassert their power and put an end to Seven Macaw's reign of false light.
I love how these myths are layered with meaning.
Yeah.
On the surface, it's an entertaining story,
Right.
but underneath, it's like this powerful commentary on pride, power, and the forces that shape the universe.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And this interplay between myth and history.
Right.
It continues as we explore the Quiche people's origins and their migration from Toulon.
You mentioned earlier that Toulon is often associated with Teotihuacan in Mexico.
Right.
That's a real place with incredible pyramids and a complex society.
Exactly. And for the Quiche, Toulon represents this mythical place of origin, a source of knowledge and power. It's like their version of the Garden of Eden.
So their journey from Toulon is like a migration myth.
You could see it that way.
Yeah.
And the Popol Vuh, it doesn't shy away from the challenges they faced.
Okay.
They crossed mountains and seas, confronted enemies, and endured hardships.
It sounds like a real epic.
It is.
What kind of enemies are we talking about?
The text mentions various groups, some friendly, some hostile.
Okay.
It paints this picture of a complex political landscape where alliances were constantly shifting.
So it's not just about their migration.
Right.
It's also about how they like establish their place in the world.
Exactly.
Navigating power dynamics.
Precisely. And this is where lineage comes in.
Okay.
And remember, for the Quiche, lineage was everything.
Right. They trace their ancestry all the way back to specific deities.
Exactly. As they migrated and established their kingdom, they carried those lineages with them, preserving their history and identity. It's like a thread connecting them back to their divine origins.
It's amazing how the Popol Vuh it weaves together these threads of mythology, history, and spiritual beliefs.
It is.
It's more than just a story.
Right.
It's a reflection of their worldview.
It is. And speaking of worldview, let's talk about those hero twins and their descent into Xibalba.
Right. We've touched on this before.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to hear the full story now.
Okay.
What exactly went down in the Mayan underworld?
All right. So Xibalba, it wasn't exactly like a walk in the park.
Yeah. Bring on the underworld. So we talked about how the hero twins were summoned there by the Lords of Death.
Right.
Why would they even go to such a place?
Well, the Lords of Death, they were notorious for, their trickery and cruelty, and they saw the twins grow in fame as this challenge.
So they were lured into a trap.
Basically.
What happened once they got there?
Think of it as a series of, increasingly dangerous games with life or death consequences. For example, their first challenge was to cross a river filled with scorpions.
Oh, yikes. How do they manage that?
The twins, they used their blowguns to create a bridge,
Wow.
outsmarting, the deadly creatures.
Talk about resourcefulness.
Right. They really had to, think on their feet.
Yeah, but scorpions are just the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah.
What else did they face?
Next, a river of blood.
A river of blood.
Symbolizing, the underworld's dangers. And then things get even weirder.
Okay, weirder. How?
They had to spend a night in each of a series of terrifying houses designed to break their spirit. Each house represented a different challenge. Darkness, cold, jaguars, you name it.
So each house was like a psychological and physical test.
Exactly.
How do they even survive?
It took all their strength, intelligence, and courage to survive. For example, in the House of Darkness,
Right.
They used a macaw feather to mimic a flame, tricking the guards.
And the House of Jaguars.
Oh, they used bones to distract the ferocious beasts.
Okay.
Slipping past while they were, occupied.
These guys were seriously clever.
They were.
But we haven't even talked about the most famous challenge they faced in Xibalba.
Oh, that's right.
The deadly ball game.
Yeah, the ball game.
This wasn't your typical sport.
No, not at all.
The ball was often like a human skull.
Yeah.
And losing meant actual death.
Right. Talk about high stakes.
How could they possibly, compete against the Lords of Death, who were masters of the game?
The twins used their agility and cleverness, understanding that they needed to outsmart their opponents. They even brought their own special equipment, like a squash ball that scattered seeds.
A squash ball.
Yeah, confusing their adversaries.
That's brilliant.
Right. It sounds like they use a combination of skill and psychology.
Exactly. And ultimately, they won.
They did.
Proving, their resilience and strength.
Yeah, but their victory, it came at a price, didn't it?
Right.
As part of the trials, they had to willingly sacrifice themselves, demonstrating incredible courage.
So how did they ultimately escape Xibalba?
Well, they tricked the Lords of Death into building a huge fire, and then they jumped into the flames, transforming themselves into ashes.
Ashes.
The ashes were scattered into a river, and they were reborn again, first as fishmen.
Hold on, fishmen.
Yeah, remember, this is a mythical world,
right,
with transformations and symbolic imagery.
Right.
The fishmen represent a stage in their rebirth.
Okay.
And even in this form, they performed miracles, further proving their heroism.
And then their final transformation.
Kunapu became the sun, and Exbalanca became the moon, forever lighting up the world.
That's an incredible ending. From facing the darkest depths of the underworld to becoming the celestial lights, it's a journey that really, speaks to the human spirit's potential.
The Popol Vuh, it's more than just a collection of stories.
Yeah.
It's a testament to human resilience, the power of transformation, and the enduring cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
And it reminds us that these ancient myths still have something to teach us today.
Oh, absolutely.
They encourage us to face our own challenges.
Yeah.
Embrace change and look for the light, even in the the darkest of times.
That's what makes exploring these ancient texts so fascinating.
Yeah.
They offer, a window into different ways of understanding the world, while also reflecting universal human experiences.
Well, we've journeyed from the creation of the world to the depths of Xibalba and back.
It's been quite a journey.
It's been an amazing dive into the Popol Vuh.
It has.
And we hope you'll continue to explore its mysteries.
Yeah.
And find your own meaning in its timeless stories.
Absolutely.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for another adventure on the Deep Dive.
I would have been on top of the charts, but it's politics. You do some gimmick shit and post, you get a lot of clicks. Drop some real shit and they probably won't acknowledge you.